On the morning of August 4th, 2025, fans around the world were taken by surprise when a short Instagram story was posted by BTS member Kim Taehyung, more widely known as V. The video, filmed casually, showed the artist seated on what appeared to be a private plane. He was holding tissue paper soaked with blood, pressing it against his nose, and smiling faintly. Seated next to him was fellow BTS member Jungkook, who appeared slightly concerned yet composed. This brief footage would quickly spread across fan accounts, reaction channels, and social media timelines, prompting widespread speculation and concern. However, in the absence of an official statement from their agency, HYB, the exact circumstances of what occurred remain only partially understood. The clip, lasting less than 10 seconds, revealed very little beyond its initial visual shock. Taehyung didn't speak in the video. The camera merely panned around the private jet cabin before returning to his face, where he subtly smiled while dabbing his nose with a tissue. No visible signs of panic or distress were present. In the background, Jungkook briefly leaned over, glanced at Taehyung, and then looked away, perhaps aware of being filmed. It seemed ordinary at first glance, almost too casual to warrant alarm. But for millions of fans who pay close attention to every detail surrounding their favorite idols, it didn't take long before theories began circulating. To understand the moment better, we must examine what happened before and after the incident. Flight records and airport activity data indicate that BTS members had been traveling for a private schedule. Neither HYB nor the artists themselves had publicly announced their destination or purpose, which is common given the high security and privacy measures taken for K-pop artists, especially those with global fame like BTS. Nevertheless, several private jet tracking accounts that follow celebrity travel noticed a flight pattern matching BTS's usual charter services, departing from Incheon International Airport late the night before and arriving in Tokyo, Japan, hours later. It was speculated that the Instagram video was taken mid-flight, sometime after takeoff but before landing. What added fuel to the discussion was the fact that shortly after the story was posted, fans at the destination airport captured photographs of an ambulance stationed near the private terminal. A few low-quality images showed what appeared to be medical staff standing by, although none of the BTS members were visibly seen entering the vehicle. Some sources suggested that it was a precautionary measure rather than a direct emergency response. HYB neither confirmed nor denied any of this, maintaining radio silence throughout the day. Online, reactions were immediate. The hashtag Taehyung trended globally within minutes, followed by tags like hashtag GetWellSoonV, hashtag Jungkook, and hashtag BTSUpdate. On platforms like Twitter, now X, fans posted screenshots from the video and attempted to analyze Taehyung's facial expression, the color of the blood, and even the visible item on his arm that resembled a medical patch or forecover. Was he receiving treatment before the flight? Was the nosebleed the result of stress, fatigue, dry air, or something more serious? These were the questions dominating online discussions. However, in contrast to the urgency seen among fans, major Korean news outlets remained relatively quiet. Some briefly mentioned that BTS's V shared a concerning update, but avoided speculation. This lack of press coverage fueled further concern among fans, who interpreted it as either an intentional downplaying or a sign of something being withheld. Adding to the puzzle were observations from those familiar with aviation health patterns. Frequent flyers and medical professionals on fan forums explained that nosebleeds during flights are not uncommon, especially when someone is tired, dehydrated, or subjected to abrupt changes in cabin pressure. Airplane cabins typically maintain lower humidity than ground environments, often under 20%, which can cause nasal membranes to dry out and bleed. Taehyung's hectic schedule in recent months, including filming for variety shows and brand endorsements, had already drawn attention among ARMY, BTS's fanbase, for being particularly packed. Some fans noted that such overexertion could contribute to minor health issues. Still, others pointed out a curious detail. In the video, Taehyung appeared relaxed, too relaxed, some argued, for someone who was potentially bleeding. His slight smile and calm demeanor seemed to contradict the alarm some fans felt. Was this his way of reassuring fans? Was the video posted intentionally to downplay the situation? Or was it simply a moment of lightness during a stressful journey? These are questions that remain unanswered. Jungkook's presence in the video also drew attention. Though he didn't speak or react dramatically, some fans viewed his subtle glance and proximity to Taehyung as a form of silent support. Others speculated that Jungkook may have been the one to assist Taehyung when the nosebleed began, perhaps helping with tissues or summoning staff. However, with no additional footage or photos of the in-flight moment, such assumptions remain speculative at best. As the video disappeared from Instagram stories after 24 hours, the conversation didn't. Fan compilations on YouTube began emerging with titles like "What You Didn't See on Camera," "The Real Reason Behind Taehyung's Nosebleed," and "Jungkook Comforting Taehyung?" "Airport Drama" explained. Some creators attempted frame-by-frame analysis, zooming in on Taehyung's expression or the texture of the tissue he was holding. Others speculated about the medical patch on his arm, suggesting prior hospitalization or a health check. While these videos gained views quickly, they provided little verifiable information. The day after the incident, Taehyung posted a regular update on his Instagram feed, an unrelated photo of a coffee cup and a park view. There was no mention of the previous story or the situation aboard the plane. Jungkook remained silent as well. HYB often criticized for its limited communication with fans during health-related matters, did not issue a formal press release in the absence of confirmation. Fans continued debating the line between genuine concern and overreaction. Some argued that nosebleeds are minor and that the public should respect Taehyung's privacy. Others insisted that idols should be transparent when health incidents occur, especially when they trigger global panic online. Regardless of the stance, one thing became clear. The moment, though brief, opened a conversation about how even the smallest unfiltered glimpse behind the scenes can generate worldwide concern and speculation. As we begin to unpack more layers of this situation in the chapters that follow, it is crucial to separate assumption from evidence and emotion from observation. What really happened behind the camera that day may never be fully known unless someone involved chooses to speak directly. Until then, we can only piece together the fragments of what was shared and what wasn't. While the footage of Taehyung's unexpected nosebleed aboard a private jet drew wide attention, the actual cause behind such incidents can often be explained through a well-documented set of environmental and physiological factors. In this chapter, we will explore the medical and scientific contexts that commonly lead to nosebleeds during flights, particularly in high-altitude, pressurized environments like those experienced inside an aircraft cabin. Epistaxis, or nosebleed, is a common occurrence affecting up to 60% of the population at least once in their lifetime. Among the types of epistaxis, anterior nosebleeds, where bleeding originates from the front part of the nasal septum, are the most common. These tend to be harmless and self-limiting. What many don't realize is that environmental factors play a significant role, especially during air travel. Inside a commercial or private aircraft, cabin pressure is regulated but still lower than at sea level. Typically, cabins are pressurized to the equivalent of 6,000 to 8,000 feet, about 1,800 to 2,400 meters above sea level. At this altitude, the air contains less oxygen and is considerably drier. Relative humidity in airplane cabins can drop below 20%, whereas normal indoor humidity levels are closer to 40 to 60%. This dry air can dry out the mucous membranes inside the nose, making them more fragile and susceptible to cracking or bleeding, especially in individuals who may already have sensitivities or nasal dryness. Additionally, the nasal cavity contains a dense network of blood vessels close to the surface of the skin. These vessels are delicate and can rupture with minimal provocation. In-flight conditions such as dry air, cabin pressure changes, and even sudden movement can create the perfect environment for minor nasal trauma to occur, especially when the individual is fatigued, dehydrated, or under physical or emotional stress. In Taehyung's case, while no medical diagnosis was released, the possibility of these contributing environmental factors cannot be ignored. Long-distance travel, frequent schedule shifts, and irregular sleep cycles are part of the regular demands faced by international entertainers. For artists like BTS who travel frequently across time zones, maintaining consistent hydration and health can become a challenge. Even slight negligence in these areas can lead to symptoms such as dry skin, sore throats, or nosebleeds. Furthermore, studies conducted by the Aerospace Medical Association and commercial airline health organizations confirm that nosebleeds are among the most commonly reported non-serious in-flight medical issues. Flight attendants are routinely trained to handle such cases. Standard procedure usually involves helping the passenger. As the short video posted by Taehyung made its way across social media platforms, another subtle detail captured the attention of fans and casual observers alike: the presence of Jungkook, seated next to him during the flight. Though he did not speak or exhibit any dramatic reaction, his silent presence in the frame prompted speculation and discussion about his role, if any, in responding to the situation. From a purely visual standpoint, Jungkook appears calm and composed. As Taehyung holds a tissue to his nose and lightly smiles at the camera, Jungkook glances over, then turns away, seemingly uninterested in being filmed. His body language does not indicate panic or alarm, nor does it suggest avoidance. Instead, his posture remains neutral, neither intrusive nor disengaged. For many viewers, this gave the impression that the incident, though unusual, was not a medical emergency. It is important to understand the dynamics at play here. Jungkook and Taehyung are not only bandmates, but have spent over a decade together as performers, trainees, and global figures. In such relationships, communication often extends beyond words. Gestures, glances, and proximity can serve as subtle but meaningful forms of support. Jungkook's closeness in the scene, physically seated beside Taehyung during a potentially uncomfortable moment, may speak more than verbal reassurance could. Some have interpreted Jungkook's lack of visible reaction as a sign of trust in Taehyung's condition. That is, he likely assessed the situation and determined that it did not require panic or action. Alternatively, his composed behavior could indicate familiarity with such incidents. Perhaps this was not the first time Taehyung had experienced a nosebleed during travel, and Jungkook understood how to remain steady rather than escalate concern. In group dynamics, especially among public figures, remaining calm can be a deliberate and strategic choice. That said, there is no evidence within the video to suggest that Jungkook provided direct medical aid. There are no shots of him handing tissues, alerting staff, or checking on Taehyung verbally. But one must consider the limitations of the footage itself. The video, lasting under 10 seconds, captures only a very narrow slice of time. What occurred before the recording began, or after, remains unseen. It is entirely possible that Jungkook had already offered assistance, checked on Taehyung's well-being, or even coordinated with staff, but chose to step aside once things stabilized. Accounts from previous BTS travel experiences show that members often look out for one another discreetly. Multiple fan sightings and behind-the-scenes documentaries have portrayed Jungkook as attentive and proactive, especially in group settings. Whether it be carrying luggage for older members, guiding someone through a crowded airport, or making sure everyone has food before him, Jungkook has frequently demonstrated a quiet sense of responsibility. This context adds weight to the idea that his calmness during the video may stem from prior experience, not indifference. Furthermore, a few unconfirmed clips surfaced on social media shortly after the Instagram story expired, allegedly showing Jungkook walking beside Taehyung at the airport, shielding him slightly from the crowd. While the videos are unclear and unverifiable, they contributed to the fan narrative that Jungkook had been attentive during and after the incident. Once again, no official confirmation followed, and no formal footage from HYB or BTS staff has emerged. Another point of interest for observers was Jungkook's silence on social media after the event. He did not post any updates or clarifications, nor did he appear to respond to fan concern online. However, this is not out of character. Jungkook has maintained a selective and often minimal presence on platforms, especially regarding sensitive matters. In the past, he has preferred addressing serious topics through formal statements or official broadcasts rather than through spontaneous online interaction. This discretion likely reflects the broader media strategy of BTS and HYB, where members are encouraged to maintain composure and avoid fueling speculation unless necessary. In this context, Jungkook's neutrality in the video and his silence afterward can be interpreted not as avoidance, but as discipline. In a media environment where a single sentence or gesture can trigger international headlines, choosing restraint is often seen as the more responsible route. It is also relevant to acknowledge that Jungkook, like all BTS members, is trained in crisis awareness. Idol training in Korea often includes basic health and safety response protocols, including how to handle incidents in public without causing unnecessary panic or drawing attention. This training is especially relevant during international schedules, where unpredictable situations, ranging from airport chaos to sudden health concerns, are not uncommon. In the broader picture, Jungkook's role in the Taehyung incident seems to reflect his ongoing pattern of quiet presence and low-profile leadership. He does not step into the spotlight unless necessary, but remains physically near and emotionally steady. For longtime fans, this behavior is neither new nor surprising. For casual observers, it can seem passive, but in the context of K-pop culture and public scrutiny, such actions may be more intentional than they appear. Moreover, it is worth remembering that this was a private moment, momentarily made public. The decision to film and upload the clip rested with Taehyung. Jungkook's choice to remain neutral on camera could reflect a respect for privacy, even within that brief shared frame. Not every reaction needs to be expressive to be meaningful, especially in a friendship where understanding runs deep and words are often unnecessary. As of now, no official statements have been made by either member or the agency regarding what exactly occurred on the flight or how it was handled. The absence of official details has left space for interpretation, but the footage suggests that the situation was under control. Jungkook's calm demeanor supports the theory that there was no urgent emergency requiring external intervention. In the end, Jungkook's presence in the moment offers a case study in how nonverbal behavior is read and, sometimes, misread under the lens of public interest. A calm glance, a silent seat nearby, or a momentary turn of the head, these become symbols for deeper meanings when no words are spoken. Whether he acted as a supporter, an observer, or both, remains unclear. But what the footage confirms is that he was there, present, steady, and part of the moment, even if only quietly. As we transition to the next chapter, we will examine how fans interpreted the video and the surrounding circumstances. Their analysis, reactions, and assumptions helped shape the public discourse following the incident, offering insight not only into fan culture, but into the complexities of interpreting limited content in a digital world where every second is scrutinized. Following the release of Taehyung's brief in-flight video, social media platforms were immediately inundated with responses from BTS's global fanbase, known as ARMY. What began as a simple Instagram story quickly escalated into a wave of speculation, trending hashtags, theory threads, and emotional commentary across platforms such as X, formerly Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. While the footage itself showed little more than a nosebleed being casually addressed mid-flight, the ambiguity surrounding the incident left ample room for interpretation. And interpret, the fans certainly did. Almost instantly, keywords like hashtag Taehyung, hashtag GetWellSoonV, hashtag Jungkook, and hashtag BTS Update trended in several countries, with thousands of posts per hour analyzing every second of the short video. Within a few hours, fan accounts had translated and subtitled the video in multiple languages, enabling non-Korean-speaking fans to participate in the conversation. The most common thread of discussion was concern. Many armies expressed worry about Taehyung's well-being, citing his recent hectic schedule and previous signs of exhaustion. Screenshots from the video were shared with annotations pointing to potential indicators of fatigue, the tone of his skin, his posture, the presence of a medical patch on his arm. While these observations were speculative, they were generally framed as expressions of care rather than alarmism. A large segment of fans responded by reminding others not to jump to conclusions. These users emphasized the possibility of mundane causes for nosebleeds, such as dry cabin air, dehydration, or lack of sleep, echoing the information later confirmed by medical professionals and aviation health experts. This more grounded interpretation helped balance the emotional reactions, creating a dual narrative, one rooted in concern and one in caution. However, as is often the case with high-profile incidents involving celebrities, some fan responses veered into more speculative territory. TikTok, known for its rapid trend cycles and viral theory,